So good morning and welcome to this practice. Today's class will be leaning on finding your place of calm and stillness, even when things around you are anything but calm. As you know, at this point in our summer, folks are making decisions about kids going back to school. We have an election coming up, and that plus all the regular uncertainty on our plates is creating this atmosphere of tension and maybe some anxiety. And it's very easy for us to blame other people and to blame circumstances for when we lose our sense of calm. And it's true that things might provoke a reaction, but we actually get to choose our attitude, and we get to choose how we respond. And it might be difficult if we have always responded in a certain way. That becomes our pattern. But yoga offers us an opportunity to recognize our patterns and then to change and shift the ones that are not working as well for us. That might be a posture pattern, or that might be a pattern in our life of how we react. So for this practice, maybe a blanket nearby if you have one handy, maybe some blocks. And we'll be starting off today seated. So you might tuck a blanket in under your hips if that helps you feel more stable. In Sanskrit, we would call that stira, a sense of stability or steadiness. And you might take a moment to wiggle into your seat to see if anything needs a shift or a shrug to help you feel the most comfortable in this seated spot. Noticing your breath as you settle in. And you might notice if your breath can move toward your belly. In terms of coming back to our calm feeling, those belly breaths can be really helpful. And then you might also notice where your body is connected to your mat, where your legs connect, where your hips connect. When you exhale, you might focus on those areas and allow them to sink down into your mat. Like your mat was a squishy memory foam that you could really leave an imprint in. You might also rest the palms down on the legs. And just noticing how things feel in this moment. And another piece that can help us to feel a sense of calm is to relieve tension. Sometimes we have tense places we don't even realize that we're holding on to. So we'll be bringing some motion into the shoulders first. With an inhale, sweep the fingertips up. With an exhale, see if the fingertips could touch behind your back. Inhale, sweeping fingertips up. Exhale, just see if the fingertips could touch, inviting them toward each other. One more, inhale it up tall. This next time when they come back, maybe the hands can clasp together, rolling the shoulders back and down from the ears. And can you breathe when you're here? Still lifting tall from the crown of the head. And when you exhale, gently release the hands. See if the shoulders would like some gentle rolls. And then when you find the next inhale, draw the shoulders toward the ears. Exhale, slide them back and down. Inhale, floating them up by the ears. Exhale, sinking them back and down. Once more, they inhale, floating up. Exhale, sliding back and down. Elbows tucked by the ribs, palms turn up. Inhale, open the thumbs back. Exhale, maybe a little crisscross in the front. Inhale to open the thumbs, folding the elbows by the ribs. Exhale back. One more like this. We inhale to open. Exhale to crisscross. And then let the palms rest down on the legs. And just notice how things are feeling. If your legs are crossed, you might switch the leg that's crossed in front. If the legs aren't crossed, you can stay as you are. You may take another little shift to settle into the shape. And we'll draw some motion to the neck. And when you exhale, take an ear toward the shoulder. Inhale back up towards center. Exhale, same side again, ear towards shoulder. Inhale back up to center. One more, maybe this time we take the hand to remind the shoulder to tip down. We may do that on the opposite side too, inviting both shoulders to sink down. And inhale back to center. Take the elbows and draw a couple of circles here, giving the shoulders a little more motion. And you might reverse that circle. Then floating the palms back to rest down on the legs. Inhale, drawing tall through your crown. Exhale, let's tip the ear over towards side two. Inhale back towards center. Exhale, tipping the ear towards side two. Once more, we inhale to center. And then this time we might remind that shoulder to stay away from the ear. We might remind the opposite shoulder to drop down too. Can you breathe when you're here? And then as you inhale, gently find center. See about a couple more shoulder rolls and shrugs, being gentle. With your hands resting on the shoulder, you might even be able to feel how those muscles are sliding over each other to support the motion. And then release the arms down, maybe taking one more little shrug or shimmy. Noticing your breath. And when you find the next exhale, let's bring in a gentle twist, opening the collarbones toward one side. Inhale back towards center. Exhale, let's go to that same side again, gentle twist. Maybe the front hand floats up and reaches behind the head to the upper back. Floating it down, inhaling back towards center. Exhale, one more twist, same side. Maybe we float that front hand. And maybe the bottom hand, if we don't need it for balance, maybe the bottom hand comes up, moving the arms toward cow face arms. And exploring them in the twist. Can you breathe here? When you find the next inhale, bring it back to center, maybe keeping the arms in cow face if they're there. Taking a breath and just seeing if the fingertips can draw toward each other. When you exhale, gently release the arms. See if the shoulders need a shrug. And take a little pause, maybe noticing what's different from one side to the other. When you exhale, let's find a gentle twist towards side two. Inhale back towards center. Exhale, gentle twist. Inhale back towards center. Exhale, gentle twist, maybe floating that front arm and reaching behind the head, reaching for the upper back. Releasing the hand, inhaling towards center. Exhale, one more twist. Maybe floating that front hand again. And then if it's comfortable, we might float the back hand up as well. Noticing if you can breathe toward your belly, especially when you feel tension in the shoulders. Inhaling towards center, maybe keeping those cow face arms for a moment. Maybe inviting the fingertips toward each other. And when you're ready, when you exhale, gently releasing the arms. See if the shoulders need a shrug. Taking a deep breath towards the belly. Softening shoulders back on the exhale. Now, if you feel totally calm and blissed out, you want to stay right here, you can. If you'd like, we're going to bring some more motion to the spine next. And it's up to you. If you would like to stay off the arms today, we can use cat and cow in a seated shape by rounding back with the exhale and gently arching forward with the inhale. Or if it's comfy, go ahead and make your way toward all fours. And if you do have a blanket handy, maybe tuck that blanket in under the knees. When we are anxious or aggravated, it can be really calming and soothing for the body to have some of these gentle, comfortable supports. So even if your knees don't really hurt without the blanket, maybe adding it just offers you that gentle support. When you exhale, rounding up for cat. When you inhale, gentle arch for cow. And taking your time, breathing with the motion. No rush, no hurry with it. And just noticing how your breath matches your movement. So this simple flow of cat-cow can help the nervous system balance out. It can help it find calm once again. And then when you're ready, settle the hips back toward the heels, soften down in child pose. Your choice of where the arms go. They can stay long, they can reach back by the heels. If it's comfortable, you might rest your head on your hands or your mat and gently rock the head a little side to side. It's like a little massage for the eyebrow area. And that's a place that tension tends to get stuck to. And then it's up to you. If you'd like a gentle practice, you can stay put right here in child pose, just softening. Letting go of any cares or worries. Maybe imagining them leaving with the exhale. Or if movement is feeling best today, you might move toward puppy next, leaving the hips up and pressing through the palms like you're lengthening them out. And then inhaling your way toward a cobra or a baby cobra. Exhale toward puppy. Inhale toward cobra. No rush, no hurry, take your time. And then when you're ready, when you're finished with your rest in child pose or your flow here, we'll all make our way down toward the belly, maybe using a negative push-up to come down. And when you find the belly, you might bend the knees and rock the heels. And if there's anywhere that feels uncomfortable on the mat, if your hips don't feel great or the pelvis doesn't feel good, you can walk or slide that blanket in anywhere you need it for extra comfort and support here. And then just take a moment to settle in on the mat. Notice how you're supported here. You might even think of letting gravity hold you. You don't have to hold yourself up here. And you can just stay here and settle again if you need some grounding today. If you'd like a little more movement, bend the knees and give the heels a little rock side to side. That helps open up the low back and the hips. And then we'll explore a couple of options here. One of these is a variation on frog pose, which helps to wake up the glutes, the muscles on the back of the hips. And if you'd like to try that version, we'll start by widening the knees. And again, if you have a blanket, you may use that blanket and under the knees as they come off the mat. And taking the heels toward each other. And then we'll explore just pressing the feet up, maybe the thighs lift, and exhale, softening down. Now if that causes any crunchiness in the low back, if it doesn't feel good, feel free to skip it. And you might take this version of frog, just reaching back toward the ankles. Maybe we reach, or maybe we clasp. Or if it feels okay, waking up these glutes. Sometimes these muscles kind of slack off, and then our low back muscles and hip flexors overwork. So waking these guys up can help support some of the other hard working systems in the body. You can match your breath here using an inhale to lift and an exhale to lower. Or if it feels like it's pretty easy, lift and then try to keep the legs lifted, but just take a little tiny pulse of pressing the heels up an inch and down an inch. And then when you're ready, we can all send legs back long, trying to walk the toes off the end of the mat. This helps open up the front of the hips. And if it feels good, always feel free to bend and rock too. And then no rush, no hurry. When you're ready, we'll take a moment to rest left ear on the hands, sending the legs back long. Use your inhale to lift right elbow and left leg. Exhale, soften it down. Turning the head as you inhale, lift left elbow, right leg. Exhale down, turning the head. This is sometimes called stargazer pose. Exhale it down, turning the head. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more each way. Turning the head. And taking a pause. Maybe rocking the eyebrow area out on the mat or on the hands if that feels good. And then we're getting ready to lift the head and shoulders in the Sphinx pose. Now, you might think, as we're getting ready to lift from the mat here, if you have any worries, you might think about just leaving them on the mat. As you inhale, curling up, tucking the elbows in under the shoulders. And we'll just leave those worries behind for the moment. And when you find Sphinx, you might take a little shift side to side. If it doesn't feel good on the back, elbows can come wider and we can come lower. Or we can think of reaching back through the toes and lengthening forward and slightly up through the crown, keeping a little tuck in the chin if possible. And then we can stay here if it feels really good on the back, or we can wake up the core, taking the belly button in toward the spine, and curling maybe just to lift the hips, going on the knees, or maybe we go to the toes. Belly button hugs in close. Can you breathe when you're there? And then whenever you're ready, we'll start to walk the hips back to the heels, any child pose. So yogi's twist. This is a spot we can sink and settle and stay put, just resting. If movement feels good, you might take a gentle flow, like cat-cow. Or you might curl toes under and find down dog. And take 3 vinyasa flows of inhaling to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, or up dog. And exhale back to down dog. Take your time for yogi's choice. Find what feels best for you. No rush or hurry with it. Noticing your breath. And noticing where you connect down to the mat. And when you're ready, no rush, no hurry, we'll start to make our way back to meet on all fours. Maybe an exhale rounds the back. And an inhale finds a gentle arch. Let's go one more each way. Again, cat and cow can really help balance out the nervous system. And then we'll find an option to add a little challenge. And what I'd like you to notice here is your breath. So don't worry so much about having these poses held perfectly still. Just notice if your breath can stay smooth and steady. We'll start off by pressing that right heel back. The toes could stay on the mat to be more gentle. You might float that left hand for sun dog or chakrasana. And maybe the left hand floats down. If we'd like to add more challenge, we may try floating that right arm up. For same side sun dog. Breathing when you're here. Exhale, settle the right hand down. Draw the knee toward the nose, foot up between the palms. Inhale your way up for a kneeling lunge. Exhale, hands to the heart. If it feels wobbly, you might stay put like this. Or you might toe heel that front foot over in line with the back knee. This inline lunge is likely to be more wobbly. Now, if you have your blocks, you can set them up to offer another touch point here. Or if it's comfortable, you might see if you can breathe steadily and toward the belly while you find a little wiggle in this shape. So yoga gives us the chance to practice when things are a little shaky. Can we stay calm? Can we maintain that nice calm connection to our center? And then when you're ready, you choose. You can come out of this shape. You can add more stability by framing the foot, or you might be playful and see if the back foot can float. And if the back foot can float, you might explore if you can connect hand to foot, foot to hand. Can you breathe when you're here? And then gently releasing if you did connect. Framing the foot, we're sliding the right foot back to press out as if it were pressing against a wall. And then take the right knee down outside the left leg. Sink and settle the hips back away from the head. You might stay here in this stretch, or you might settle them all the way down, coming toward those cow face pose legs. Now it's up to you. You don't have to sit here. We can stay forward. If you get here and you like, you might take that right hand toward the upper back. Maybe the left hand comes and the fingertips reach toward each other. You can sit tall, or you can hinge and fold here, trying to invite the fingertips toward each other and the elbows away from each other. When you're ready, releasing the hands down. Inhale gently, making your way back toward the knees. Float that right heel up one more time. And then gently settle knee to mat. Take a moment here and see if it would feel good to sink back in child pose. If there's any motion that your body needs, maybe it's the wrists. It could use a little circle or flex and bend. Just notice. Maybe noticing your breath while you're here. And then we'll find our way toward all fours to meet, setting up for side two. We'll start off by pressing that left heel back. We might even keep the toes down for extra grounding. We'll see if that right hand can float. Breathing when we're here in Sun Dog or Chakrasana. Maybe right hand finds the mat. And we add a little more challenge by seeing if that left arm can lift. Can your breath stay calm and steady, even if your body is a little bit wiggly, even if things feel a little shaky? And bringing that left hand down, exhale, take the knee toward the nose, the foot up between the palms. You can inhale our way up for kneeling lunge. Breathing when you arrive here. And you choose, we can settle hands to the heart and just stay put. Kneeling lunge might be wobbly enough on its own. Or maybe the wobble is not a place you can breathe today. You might stay here too. Or we can try toe heeling that front foot over so it's in line with our back knee and back foot, just like you're on a balance beam. Can you breathe even if things feel shaky? And take your time. No rush, no hurry with it. And then when you're ready, you choose. You might settle the hands down to add a little bit more stability. And we can stay put here, just breathing. Maybe we're breathing a sigh of relief. Or we might play with floating that back heel up. And if the back heel floats, maybe we explore connecting hand to foot. Can you breathe when you're there? If you did connect, gently release. Palms come down to frame the foot, sliding and reaching back through that left heel. Then exhale, send the knee down outside the right leg. Shifting the hips back. And we can stay right here. We don't have to go to cow face. But we might settle the hips in between the heels. And we can just stay here, focusing on hips. Or we might draw it tall to add in the arms. If you add the arms, it's the left hand reaching for the upper back. Right arm scoops down and around. Can you breathe when you're here? You might stay tall, or you might hinge from the hips, folding here. Thinking of fingertips reaching toward each other, elbows reaching apart. And take your time. And when you're ready, we'll gently release the hands. Inhale, shifting forward toward the knees. Pressing back through that left heel. And settling to all fours. Take a moment to shift a little side to side. See if your body would like cat-cow. And then it's yogi's choice. Settle and sink in child pose if that feels best. Time enough for 3 vinyasa flows. Or if there's another shape or movement you can tell your body would like, use this time to go there now. Noticing the signals that our body is sending us can have a calming effect too. Sometimes when we're feeling anxious or frustrated, we tend to put all of our focus up here on our thoughts, tend to be more in our head. So noticing those signals and feelings from the body can help us tune in and reconnect. No rush, no hurry, taking your time here. And when you do find your way back toward the end of that third flow, or toward the end of your rest, we'll take a moment here to meet in child pose. Breathing in toward the low back. And then when you find it, inhale, making your way up towards seated. And when you find your seat, we'll invite the bottoms of the feet toward each other and the knees apart for Baddha Konasana. And your choice here, you can rest blocks in under the knees if that feels good. That can be really supportive if you have a grumpy knee. You can take the feet out a little further if you need to. And then just notice how your back feels when you're here. Again, a blanket or a block in under the hips might help that back find more stability. And then as you settle in the shape, we'll take a moment to explore what happens if we just take a look over toward one side and then come back towards center. Maybe we take a look over towards side two. We might send the fingertips back and lift the collarbones up. And then if it's comfy, we might hinge from the hips and fold forward. Maybe just a few inches, or maybe we soften and settle down a bit lower. Can you breathe when you're here? So these forward bending shapes do tend to be more calming. You can always add a little support for your head with your hands or with a block. When you inhale, gently walk the hands back in towards center. Take a little shift, settling back in. And then we'll explore what happens if we send that left leg out long. And you can hug the right foot in toward the left leg. This is head to knee pose, and I'd invite you to keep the legs really active here today. So flexing that left foot like you were pushing it into a wall. You can even put a block in underneath it just to remind you to keep that foot active. Hugging the right foot in and pressing foot into leg, leg into foot. So there's a lot of activity here in the legs already. And then you might take a little twist, looking over toward one side. Inhaling towards center. Exhale, maybe taking that little twist and a little look over to side two. Inhale to center. Let the fingertips go back behind. Inhale, lift the collarbones up. And then you might stay here, or you might inhale the fingertips tall, keeping those legs active. Hinge from the hips, fold for head to knee. Now, your hands can rest anywhere. You can bend the knee to take a little pressure off. Just finding what feels best for you. Check in with your breath, especially if you feel a strong stretch here. Does it feel like your breath can stay in that calm, steady flow? And then no rush, no hurry from here. We'll start to inhale our way back up towards center. And then we might explore taking that right foot outside of the left leg. So we can stay put here, hugging the knee closed. We might explore taking that left heel in toward the right hip. And this lets us visit half lord of the fishes pose for Ardha Matsyendrasana. We might tuck that left elbow outside of the right knee. We might use the right hand to help keep the spine tall. And we might start to take a look back over the right shoulder. And you breathe when you're here. Noticing if the breath stays calm. And you can stay put right here if you like this shape. This is a nice one that's thought to help us let go of agitation and aggravation. If you love cow face pose, you can revisit that here too by walking that right foot over, letting the knees stack one over the other. And then you're in cow face legs. You can have the arms if you like. On this side, it would be the left elbow up first if you visit cow face again. That can either stay tall or fold. So whichever you're in, if you're in cow face, that means you came out of half lord of the fishes, or vice versa. It means that you made a choice. And sometimes when we make choices, we can't help but wonder if we should have done the other choice. So if you do want to switch shapes, you're welcome to. And then whichever shape you choose to practice in, just see if you can be in that shape right now. Instead of wondering and having that fear of missing out of something different, can you just inhabit the shape you're in this moment? And then when you're ready, when we find an inhale, we'll release the twist or draw back up from cow face. Use the hands to support the legs as we uncross and lengthen them both out long. Take a little bounce, see if the feet need a little rock side to side, if your back needs any motion. And then before we go to side two, we'll take a moment to pause here in Dandasana, staff pose, sitting tall. We might take an inhale and then exhale to hinge for Paschimottanasana, or seated forward bend. Remembering that we can bend the knees here too. Noticing your breath as you soften into the shape. When you find an inhale, drawing back up towards center. And then we'll prepare to visit side two. So now we'll have that right leg long, bringing the left foot toward the right leg. And pressing out through the right foot, maybe even having that block underneath it. To remember to keep that foot active. Press left foot into right leg into left foot. And when you're ready, we'll take a little twist toward one side. Inhale towards center. Exhale, a gentle twist. Inhale towards center. Fingertips go back. We might lift the collarbones up. And we can stay put just like this. Or inhale the fingertips up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, folding toward head to knee pose. Remembering that we can bend the knee. That might take some pressure off the hamstrings. And checking in to see if the breath can stay smooth and calm here. No rush, no hurry. When you're ready, gently releasing the leg, coming back towards center. And then we might explore bringing that left foot outside of the right leg. And this might be as far as we go. We might just hug the knee in here. If it's comfortable, we can take that right heel toward the left hip. Trying to settle both hips back to the mat. Maybe just staying here, focusing on legs. Or maybe right elbow comes outside of that left knee. You take that right hand back behind to help press the spine tall. Gently looking back over that left shoulder. Half Lord of the Fishes pose. Can you breathe when you're here? Keeping the spine long. And it is different to breathe in a twist. Can your breath stay calm and smooth? You choose, stay there if you love the twist. Or if you love cow face, you can revisit it by walking that left foot over toward the right so the knees are stacked. You can always focus on legs only. For now, it would be right hand coming toward the upper back, left arm scooping down and around. And your choice of sitting tall, folding forward. Whichever shape you're in, can you give yourself permission to be right where you are? Inviting the breath toward the belly, even though it may feel different in these shapes. Whenever you're ready, no rush or hurry. We'll gently make our way back towards center, using hands to support the legs as they reach out long. See if they need a little bounce, a little rock. The feet need any motion. And then yogi's choice, you have time for one more seated pose. You can head to Paschimottanasana if you love legs long, or revisit Baddha Konasana, bringing the bottoms of the feet together, and then folding from here. Again, you don't have to fold if it doesn't feel good for your back, but those forward folding shapes tend to be more calming. No rush, no hurry, taking your time. When you're ready, we'll start to make our way back towards seated and prepare to transition down toward our back on the mat. Now there's one shape for the spine that we haven't taken yet. So if it's comfortable, I invite you as we make our way down to set up for a banana asana. Take your time, no rush, no hurry. You can rock when you get here. You can reach. And it is okay if you just like to rest and settle in Shavasana. But if it's comfy, we'll send the feet over toward the left. And then we might reach the hands up and over toward the left, making a banana shape or the shape of a smile here on the mat. And this helps open the side of the body. And they say that the sides of the body are associated with the gallbladder meridian. And when we feel indecisive, it's thought that there might be something stuck or stagnant or blocked there. So breathing when you're here, and trying to let both hips and both shoulders settle into the mat. And you can add a little more if you'd like to cross that right leg over the left. Feel free to stay a bit longer if you'd like. Or when you're ready, we'll slowly release the feet. Coming back to center for a moment. And then from center, we'll send the feet over now to the right. Hands can reach up and over to the right. And inviting the hips and the shoulders to settle down toward the mat. And breathing here. Maybe crossing left leg over right. We'd like to add a little bit more to it. Yogi's choice, fine to stay put here if it feels really good. Or if you took longer on side one and you just got here, or when you're ready, I'm going to invite you to take one more restorative shape before Shavasana. Again, Shavasana, final relaxation is just fine if you like. Or you might bend the knees, bringing the feet to the mat, and crossing the arms over the wrist, reaching towards your opposite shoulder. This is constructive rest. It's okay to have the arms open too if that feels better for today. Constructive rest, again, is another one that helps to calm the nervous system. And breathing when you're here. Maybe using your exhales to help your body soften down into the mat. Maybe imagining that mat is something soft and comfortable that you can really let your body sink into. And if you love constructive rest, you can stay here for Shavasana. Or at any point over the next few minutes, send the legs long, maybe turn the palms up for a classic final relaxation. Or always okay to bend the knees like in constructive rest at any point. And give yourself permission for these next few minutes to do nothing, to just be, allowing your body time to integrate the benefits from today's practice. Knowing that I'll keep an eye on the time for you so you can just rest and be. If you are able to take a long Shavasana today, please feel free to do so. This is a great shape to be in. You need to find more calm. But when you're ready, you might start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. You Might circle the wrists and the ankles. You might find what's ready to stretch and reach out, or to bend and draw in close. And taking any gentle rocking movements or reaching movements that feel natural and helpful. And eventually we'll make our way over to rest on one side or the other. And taking a pause when you're here. And then using an inhale to bring yourself back upright toward a comfy seated place. Maybe the same one you took when we started practice today. When you find that shape, take a little shift side to side. See if the shoulders need a roll or a shrug, or if the neck needs any motion. When you find an inhale, we'll start to float the fingertips up tall, reaching up through the spine. Exhale, hands find the heart. And thank you for taking the time to practice today. And namaste.